The idea of two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo teaming up with Stephen Curry in Golden State has become a hot topic. Recent reports suggest Giannis is, for the first time in his 12-year career, open-minded about playing elsewhere, a dramatic shift from past comments. He famously said he'd stay in Milwaukee as long as they can compete for titles. But with the Bucks' star backup Damian Lillard sidelined for 2025-26, Giannis is evaluating all his options. That subtle change has ignited speculation about franchises from Miami to New York and even Golden State. Indeed, NBA insiders note that Giannis has quietly built connections. He was spotted chatting and laughing with Curry, Draymond Green, and owner Joe Lacob at Curry's All-Star Weekend party in February 2025, and Warriors brass have long considered Giannis a dream target. Yet not every report signs Golden State up as a frontrunner. In a mid-May 2025 roundtable, Sam Amick, via The Athletic, said, "There are no early indications the Warriors will be at the front of the line for Giannis. The team is expected to prioritize adding role players around Curry and Jimmy Butler rather than chasing another superstar." ESPN's insiders echo this caution. Curry remains entrenched in the core, and as one analyst put it, the Warriors can't realistically acquire Giannis's maximum contract and keep Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green all together. In other words, Golden State would likely need to trade away one of Butler or Green, or absorb a third team, to match salaries. Financially, the Warriors still have draft capital. They own multiple first-rounders, including 2026, 2028, 2030 picks, and even swap rights. But no package of picks alone can land a two-time MVP. Analysts suggest Golden State would have to use its young talents as centerpiece trade pieces. For example, some speculate a package might include Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski, both emerging wings, plus veterans like Draymond Green or others, and at least two unprotected first-round picks. One model deal proposed on a Warriors fan site was Kuminga, Green, Moses Moody, Pods, and a haul of draft picks in exchange for Giannis. In any scenario, the salary cap is tight. Curry's $59 million and Butler's $30 million on the books mean Giannis's $50 to $55 million cap hit would require moving a huge contract. Trading Green at $26 million might do it, but as pundits note, Green is DNA for Golden State's identity. Trading Butler on expiring deal could work financially, but then the Bucks get an aging shooter, and a curious trio of older stars would remain in Oakland. All this makes any Giannis for Warriors deal extremely complicated under the cap. How would Giannis fit? On court, Giannis would radically alter Golden State's style. The Warriors thrive on spacing, three-point shooting, and ball movement. Giannis is a generational inside scorer and defender. He averaged 30.4 points, 11.9 rebounds, 6.5 assists on 60.1% shooting in 2023-24, but is not a high-volume perimeter shooter. With Curry and Butler on the wings, Giannis would dominate the paint and work in pick-and-rolls, forcing defenses to sag and opening three-point opportunities. Defensively, Giannis is arguably the league's best, a former Defensive Player of the Year, so pairing him with Green's switching defense could create a fearsome front line. However, he'd also slow the pace at times and demand touches that current role players lack. Culturally, Giannis would enter a locker room built on strength in numbers, unselfishness, and top-down trust in veterans. Warriors fans worry a move like this risks disrupting their identity. As one analysis put it, Golden State has access to multiple first-round picks, but pairing Curry and Giannis means reorienting around two ball-dominant stars. It would be the most top-heavy roster since the original Heat Big Three. Impact on Milwaukee. For the Bucks, trading Giannis would be earth-shattering. Milwaukee's current window is murky. Lillard is out until late 2026, the roster is aging, and the Bucks lack the draft capital and young players to quickly rebuild if Giannis departs. In fact, ESPN reports their own picks for several years are already away, so a full teardown is impossible. If Giannis is moved, the Bucks would likely get a mix of young players like Kuminga, who's a top prospect in picks. But as EFOS analyst David Schaefer noted, the Bucks lack the assets to fully rebuild, which is why a divorce makes sense for both sides. Losing Giannis would leave Milwaukee with an injured Lillard, $55 million cap hit, and a semi-veteran roster, without even an obvious franchise cornerstone. In short, the Bucks would face a long rebuild, and any trade package would have to convince them it accelerates their timeline. Rumors and reactions. As of May 2025, the chatter remains mostly speculative. The Athletic and ESPN confirmed the meetings. Giannis met with Bucks execs, as he does every offseason, about the future. But he has not demanded a trade yet. Warriors owner Lacob publicly says he wants to keep this core together, and front office insiders privately say a quest for Giannis is low priority. Still, some analysts can't stop dreaming. Howard Beck famously joked on Zach Lowe's podcast that Giannis's trade preferences are some of the big cities, one of the LA teams or one of the New York teams or maybe Miami, implying Golden State isn't even on the shortlist. For now, it seems a Giannis to Warriors deal is more wishful thinking than imminent news. But with a championship hunger on both sides, Giannis for another ring and the Warriors for a seventh don't fully rule it out. It would take a blockbuster, semi-realistic salary package and a willing superstar. If nothing else, these rumors show just how much intrigue surrounds basketball's biggest domino this offseason.